Sonic's Green Hills Adventures Season 5 Chapter 3 Meeting the Rest of the Family. Modern Sonic's point of view.
When Wachowski said Montana, I realized that this wasn't a very different alternate Mobius. Wait, this is Earth. Why don't you live on Mobius? I asked for this baffled me. Wachowski nervously scratched his head.
Oh well, you see, I don't like to look back on it. It wasn't exactly by choice.
Wachowski replied in a small, almost whispering, voice. I also saw fear and sadness in his eyes. But before I could say anything else, we heard the front door opening.
Yes, Donut Dad is home.
Wachowski cried in pure joy. The look that he had just a moment ago was completely gone. Then I saw him run to the front door just as a man with brown hair came in and Wachowski jumped into his arms, hugging him.
Hey buddy, sounds like you had a good day.
The man said as he returned the embrace.
That? Look at some other me. His nickname is Modern, and yes, it was his idea.
Wachowski explained as he gestured to me.
Well, it's nice to meet you. I'm Tom. So what brings you to Green Hills?
Tom asked as he shook my hand. That's a mystery to all of us right now because it wasn't intentional. I don't even know what brought me here and why, but I do know one thing. Eggman had nothing to do with it. I replied seriously.
Movie Sonic's point of view.
Then I jumped out of Donut Dad's arms and sat next to Modern. So how old are you, Modern? I asked curiously.
Well, I'm 18. What about you?
Modern replied casually. I'm 15. But I arrived on Earth when I was 3 and faced my Eggman for the first time at 13. I replied thoroughly.
Wait, so you were younger than I was when meeting Eggman? I was 15 when I met him.
Modern asked, looking astounded. Yes, apparently. So must have so many tales of adventures to tell, and I'm so curious. I said, getting more excited to know more about Modern by the minute.
Oh well, there was one time I went into the storybook world of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Arthur was corrupted by his scabbard, which gave him immortality, so I had to defeat him, but it turned out he wasn't real. The true villain was Merlin's granddaughter. She found out how Camelot comes to an end in the future, so she wanted to make the kingdom eternal. But because of her fear, she took it too far, using the scabbard to it, thus it corrupting her. I stopped her with Excalibur and gave her advice. All things come to an end, so we should live life to the fullest. Then we discovered that I was the true King Arthur.
Modern said in detail. Oh, that's so cool. I exclaimed. You talk about a triple twist. Shadow said in agreement.
I never thought I'd hear a true story as epic as that.
Silver added. Oh, that reminds me, Modern, meet my big brother Shadow and little brother Silver. I said as I went to stand between my brothers, wrapping my arms around their shoulders.
Modern Sonic's point of view.
My jaw dropped at that tat. Wait, Shadow and I are brothers in this world. I exclaimed in shock as I bursted out laughing at the irony of it all.
Yes, Hephis Sonic was surprised too. Although Hephis Shadow and him are spiritually brothers.
Wachowski said with an eerie casualness. Wait, is Hephis Sonic the other Sonic you mentioned at the cliff? I asked curiously, but before he could answer, we heard a baby crying.
Oh, we'll go get her. And Modern, I'll explain that later, I promise.
Wachowski said and then dashed upstairs.
Movie Sonic's point of view.
When I got to Annika's nursery, I saw she was calling out for me, so I took her in my arms as I began to soothe her. Hey, it's okay, Annika, I'm here now. In fact, we have a house guest. Would you like to meet him? I said as I began to leave the nursery, and Annika giggled in response. All right then, I said as we arrived in the living room. Mother, I'd like you to meet my baby sister, Annika. I said as I walked up to him.
Oh, she's adorable. Hi there, Annika. It's so nice to meet you. How old is she?
Modern said happily. She's 10 months old. Well, I just realized her first birthday is just under 4 months away now. She's growing up so fast. I said as I realized this and kissed Annika's forehead.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Modern said as he gave me a thumbs up.
Longclaw's point of view.
I was finally done with work and flew home. When I entered the house, I saw 2 Sonics in the living room. He goes, I'm home, so who is that other Sonic? I asked as I flew over to the 2 blue hedgehogs.
Hey, Longclaw, says Modern. Modern, this is my godmother, Longclaw. She took care of me back on Mobius. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have gotten away with my life.
Sonic said as he hugged me, and so I wrapped a wing around him to return the embrace.
Well, really? Well, it's very nice to meet you, Longclaw.
Modern said happily with an impressed smirk. It's nice to meet you too, Modern. So what brings you here? I asked curiously.
Well, I was fighting Eggman when suddenly I appeared here. I know it wasn't Eggman, but I'm not sure who, what, why. nor how.
Modern explained seriously.
Oh, I've been wondering about him. What is he like?
Sonic asked excitedly.
Well, his torso is egg-shaped and he goes to crazy extremes to take over Mobius and sometimes my version of Earth. So what about yours, Wachowski?
Modern asked nervously.
Well, he isn't fat, but he has egg-shaped drones, and he's more focused on capturing me and not my brothers and girlfriends since they're an anomaly like me. He wants our power and plans to do animal testing.
Sonic explained with anger in his tone. I could tell he still hasn't gotten over what he injected to Anakin in their last battle.
Oh, I know I've been mad at him before, but the way you are, what happened?
Modern asked in concern.
Modern Sonic's point of view.
When I asked that, Wachowski Sonic suddenly bursted into hot angry tears.
If it weren't for Donut Dad and my determination to protect him, Pretzel Mom, and everyone in Green Hills, as well as overpowering the exhaustion and pain in my body, none of us would be here. Annika wouldn't have been conceived. Shadow would still be locked up in a gun facility. Silver would still be all alone in Australia. And the rest of us would have died. And most recently, he threatened Annika when he and the Boogeyman, who teamed up with him, was defeated. Odie's henchman, Shock, barged into our house and used her magic to send her to Big Sonic's dimension. Thankfully, I immediately went after her, or else something horrible would have happened to her. The world is an apocalypse.
Wachowski explained as he sobbed even harder. Man, I couldn't even remember the last time I cried like this, let alone at all. I immediately hugged him. I'm so sorry, Wachowski. When they make it personal like he did, I consider it worse than mine. Where is he now? I said as I tried to calm him down.
He is in gun headquarters in the highest security cell.
Wachowski Shadow replied.
Movie Sonic's point of view.
At that moment, I was finally able to calm down. Yep, and if he escapes, they'll give us the heads up so we'll be ready to beat him again. I added confidently.
Well, you're luckier than me. Mine isn't consistently guarded in a prison in between schemes.
Modern said in shock. I was about to reply when I saw Annika reaching for the ground. Oh, you want to practice walking, right? I asked sweetly. Yeah! Annika exclaimed as she got more eager and excited. Alright then, let's see how good you are at it now, I said as I carefully put her down. Annika already started off standing, then she ran over to Shadow effortlessly.
Well, you're learning fast.
Shadow said in surprise.
I love you, Shadow!
Annika said as she hugged Shadow.
Oh my gosh, her first full sentence and she properly pronounced my name.
Shadow said with tears of joy in his eyes.
Well, I guess I showed up just in time to see such a beautiful moment.
Modern said as he witnessed this.
And don't worry, boys. I got it on camera.
Pretzel Mom said as I saw her put her phone away.